Okay, so we are going to discuss the two videos watched. One called The Secret, and the other is The New Era of Positive Psychology, where Mr. Seligman did his presentation. Both of them were very interesting, and they also discussed psychology in a sense. Mr. Seligman's presentation was more scientifically sound, and when it comes to speaking of the mind's capacity, mental capacity, or psychology as a whole, I would say that Mr. Seligman's presentation was more of a go-to to get the scientifically sound, of course, information that you're looking for. A few points that Mr. Seligman discussed that really got my attention were, I'd say, his top three points. The questions were, why is psychology good? Why is psychology not good? And what will psychology be within the next 10 years or after the next 10 years? So at that point, he had my ears open. Why is psychology good? He did mention that over 60 years ago, none of the disorders were treatable. None of the mental disorders that psychology had studied on were treatable at all. Now 14 of those disorders are treatable and 2 are curable. So that's rather interesting. And that's in a drug sense as well as a psychology treatment. A science for psychology was created, and we're able to do experiments now at a psychological sense, where they're able to do treatments psychologically as well as drug, which is the good part. Why is psychology not good would be because since these disorders have been identified, people have become, as he said, victimologists as well as pathologizers. Which means basically that when it comes to a mental disorder, or when it comes to life in general, as far as being a victimizer, you're ignoring the fact that some of the things that come about in life are ignored, or because are not realizing that those are results from responsibilities and decision making. Psychology forgot about the happy people too. The happy people, the normal lives, which at that time, as well as the people that were stressed or that had mental disorders or psychology disorders, they should have been just as important. With focusing on strengths as well as weaknesses should have been just as important, as well as repairing the worst and building up the best things as well should have been just as important. And the last thing that he mentioned was where will it be in the next 10 years? And at this time, he didn't really go into deep detail, but basically to sum up what he did mention is that technology, entertainment, as well as design is expected to increase the pleasant life in the future. Now, to talk a little about The Secret. The Secret was definitely a video that was more interesting. It really catches the human eye, but it's not as scientifically sound as the other. Basically, it discusses the secret, and the secret is the law of attraction. with the law of attraction, everything in your life you attract. So when it comes to negativity and positivity, if negativity is something that you live your life around, that's what you'll attract. As far as positivity, same thing. Like attracts like, and what you think about most is what seems to happen. One of the examples that really blew my mind was the example that they showed where there was a person on the way to work running late, and they're thinking, I don't want to be late, and it seems like everything's stopping them. There's traffic, there's construction, there's red lights, there's people crossing the street, or people driving slow. That's something that we run upon every day. So as far as the law of attraction is concerned, they were mentioning that the law of attraction isn't biased on wants or don't wants. It's just basically the power of the mind, and in my eyes it did kind of speak of the power of the mind like magic, and I kind of saw the video as maybe it's discussing the law of attraction as something that you think about a lot, so it's something that you're focused on, so it's something that you notice more, such as you may know someone that has a Honda Accord, and as soon as you end up with that friend with that Honda Accord, all of a sudden you notice every car on the street is a Honda Accord. You never realize that so many people own that same car until you notice that, or that came into your life and it's something that you focus on. Or it could even be that when that black Honda Accord goes down the road, you're expecting it to be your friend, and you're like, wow, so many people have that many of the same make and model vehicle. It mentioned time delay as well. That really was interesting, and in time delay it was saying that it allows us to reassess truly what we think about and what we want. So that was rather interesting. When it comes to stress in my personal workplace, one of the things that I pay a lot of attention to is basically I say promoted within my company, and one of the things that really catch my attention is kind of the negativity around me since that recent promotion. So how I deal with that stress successfully is to think of some of the psychology concepts that was mentioned in the stress video when it comes to just thinking positive things and keeping positive things go through my mind. So I really did understand the secret video as well as Mr. Seligman's presentation as well.